Scanning for audio. Scanning for audio.
Hello and welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about, well, the end of Geordie's time. This is the end, my only friend, the end. Oh yeah. Most comedians want to be singers. Most podcasters want to be comedians. Yeah, let's leave it there. Because this is the end. This is it. No more Geordie. No more Chibnall. Now, here's the thing. Some people will be really pleased about this. Some people won't be. Some people won't care. The reason they won't care is because they were just waiting for the new person to start. Or they're a big fan of David Tennant and they're just waiting for the new person to start. Because Chibnall wasn't for them. Geordie wasn't for them. However, a lot of people really liked this story. There was a tweet that went out just before it was shown, and it was Peter Davison looking glum, and it was sent out by his wife, saying Peter can't decide to whether to watch Janet tonight or whether to watch himself in the Larkins on ITV. This was the end of an era, at the end of the Doctor's time, a regeneration story. And how much advertising did the BBC do? That's none. We will always watch it. But they didn't tell anyone. I asked my wife if she'd come across any adverts or something like that in passing. Nothing. Anywhere. No interviews. Nothing out of the ordinary, no posters, not saying, oh, the time is nigh, it's the end of the world, or anything like that. But no. We're presented with the end of Geordie's time. And what do we get to talk about? We just want to talk about how good Janet Fielding was, or how brilliant it was to see Ace, all those fantastic cameos. These are the only bits that anyone's going to be talking about. Moments of the past, kisses to the chef, to us, to the fans. We were serviced left, right and centre, but the issues we've got with the episode are the same issues we've always got. They are the issues of the plot, the storyline, what's happening, where are we going with this, the delivery. Because we've just got lots of exposition and we're just sat there. Now, I had my 13-year-old daughter with me. We all watched it together. They all complained when they discovered it was 90 minutes, thinking that it was an hour and they could just about give us an hour. But 90 minutes, they thought that was just too much. And my daughter's main comments were, does it look this shoddy on purpose? Seriously. Because it did look quite shoddy. Not great. The shoddy effects are honestly not great. And that business with the train, yes, we know her first story was on a train in darkness, and this is a train in light. So we've got a bit of circular thing. But then it goes trains in space. Mummy on the Orient Express was, well, I don't like trains in space, okay? Sue me. Not my cup of tea. But that's all I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking, oh, it's a nice circular bit of narrative. I was just going, yay. And then those terrible hard rock Cybermen turn up. Sorry, glam rock Cybermen. What's the purpose of them? Oh, yeah, they're here to steal a child in a box. Is it really the Doctor? Is it the timeless child? Bizarrely, storyline-wise, you find out it's neither of those things. What it is energy monster form thing or jellyfish from Encounter at Farpoint. Am I having a moan? Perhaps. Because all of the bits with Geordie and the current crew in were just padding. Because all we want to discuss right now is the classic Doctors. Those glorious cameos. Yes, there was a couple of missing people, and we'll talk about the actual missing companions at the end when I get to that bit. But what I need to talk about now is how lovely it was with those moments of the 5th Doctor and Tegan and the 7th Doctor and Ace with the "we were is." Oh my God. They were so there for us, making old Virgin Adventures canon, which, let's face it, we like. Throwaway remarks like, "the last time I saw you, you were a half cat," and "how's your Auntie Vanessa?" All of those things were just there for us. Because let's face it, we're the only ones still watching. Now, there were, tiny things will be popping into my head, and I'll be doing this not in the right order, as always. Those photographs, those paintings. Does anyone else watch the Jimmy Carr big quiz of the year, when he puts himself into famous pictures quite badly using Photoshop? They really should have kind of got the person who does that to sort this out, because they were really, really badly done. My problem is that if you look too closely at this, it just falls apart. But that's not what this is about. This is practically a 60th anniversary story. Yes, I know we're going to get David Tennant and the new bloke and all that business with the 3 specials next year at some point. But this is to celebrate the 100 years of the BBC. So we end up with all of those lovely Doctors. Oh my God, how happy will the people at Big Finish be to have photographs of Paul McGann in his current costume available to stick on the front of CDs or whatever format so we've got going at the minute. Things like Jo as a hologram. Oh yeah, right, this is a prime example. Jo's Doctor, my all-time favourite at the moment. She turns up in this storyline. And she's a hologram. We as an audience have got used to there being holograms in this storyline. But you can only really see them if you've been touched and had a spark. Well, the Master hasn't been. So how's he seeing Jo? We don't like to think about it. Oh, right. So RTD has the whole sound of drums in the Master's story, where he's got music playing and you've got the Scissor Sisters coming on. And that goes in a loop. That kind of reflects the way that RTD writes stuff. It does feel like rah rah Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. Well, they just wanted an excuse to put that into the storyline because it makes no real sense that it's 2016. It's not even Tunguska's effect or impact on the horizon, which would have, made sense to somewhere along the line. Tiny things like the clone copy Cyberman who's already dead, wandering around like a gangster, shooting people left, right, and centre. Why is he walking like a gangster? It's not right. And of course, why was Vinder there? What was his point? Was he pointless? I mean, it was nice to have Vinder back, but he wasn't really needed. What was he doing? And like I said, just don't think about it. Because the beautiful moments, the great moments, the moments with the high-quality performances, the high-quality acting, were not the new crew. There was a distinct lack of any Thasmin action. No, that sounded dodgy. The moments between them were in silence, and you can read into it whatever you want, but we got more quality Doctor and Yasmin chat in the episode that should never have happened with the Sea Devils. My daughter actually said one of the best lines seemed to be lifted from Kung Fu Panda. Perhaps she's right, but I'll tell you one thing. This was the first time in the history of Doctor Who on television, not audio, where I was pleased that Bonnie Langford appeared. It was a very strange feeling. Perhaps my 11-year-old self or 13-year-old self has finally been put to rest. There are tiny things like the empty chair. Who's it for? Is it for Sarah Jane? Is it for Polly? Is it for Adric? Is it the iPad on a chair? Is that actually Frobisher? No, it's not. So, yes, I can moan, I can go on about it, but you know what? It's the end of an era. We've got David coming, and it's all right. The business with the forced regeneration? Who cares? Seriously, who cares? The business with the massive Death Star planet thing? Don't care. I care that the timeless child business wasn't dealt with. I care that a lot of old actors who I adore turned up here and looked brilliant and were just marvellous. That's what matters to me. That's what I'll take away from this. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Sophie. You didn't need to come back, but we're just grateful you did. Genuinely grateful. The moment where she just mentions Adric was lovely. So yeah, let's not think about the plot. Let's not think about the bit where Tegan fell down a lift shaft and then just walked out of a corridor and was fine. Let's not look at those too closely, because it's the end of an era, and it ended on a high note. Because we're going to get more. We've got bloody ages to wait. We've got Big Finish. We'll be all right. But we'll hang on. There will be more Doctor Who. There will always be more Doctor Who. And that's what matters. Whether it be on TV or not, that's fine. So with that, I'll fade away and speak to you all very soon, probably about Doctor Who. I would say so. Be seeing you.
A Villain in Venice, Jane of the Air, Book 1. A steampunk detective and aviatrix and part-time spy. Available now. All profits to the NHS. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.